All right, guys. So it looks like we are live.
And we got to bring it up on
And
here too, right?
we also got to test the audio, see if the audio is okay. And I'm actually the host today for the
The
second
lovely
time.
Lady Bree is hosting.
Second time in a row. So it looks like okay, we're good.
All right.
Hi.
This is exciting. I'm a guest.
Yeah.
It's
For
the first time I've been a guest.
First time?
Yeah.
All right. So it looks like
I've never been a guest.
I won't look there. I'll look at the pad.
Yeah.
iPad.
And somebody's first, it says.
First.
Somebody else was second.
MRG 1911.
Robert was second.
Second, and Bill
Bill
Woods
was third.
All right. So
in this case, third is not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad at all.
All right. So I'm the host today, Brianna Briefit Dance. And the guest today is Craig.
Yes. I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So what this is about is quality.
Quality. Oh, I like that subject.
Yeah, quality counts. And we're going to ask you some questions.
All right, I'm ready. And Bill
We're going to
Woods.
interview you
Bill
some
Woods
questions.
says, "Hey Bree, I lived in what?
Riobamba.
Where's that?
That's probably, I can't remember. Riobamba. I think that's in my country.
Oh, it is? Okay.
I think so.
We'll have to check it out, Bill. We'll have to figure out where that is.
Yeah. But that's cool. I'm from Guayaquil.
And let us know how the audio is. I think Bree talks a little bit softer than me, so let us know in the chat how the audio is.
And the microphone is good too. So, okay, so do we want to start with the questions, or do we want to wait for some viewers?
We can, and I'll tell you what, why don't we do this? Why don't you review what you've been working on the last 24 hours or so?
Okay, so I've been working on a rap music video.
Mm-hmm.
It's about Bitcoin, and it's probably gonna be released tonight. So, and also I've been working on my fitness. I did 5 sets of push-ups. He can confirm.
And talk into the mic so they can hear you.
I did 5 sets of push-ups.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Good job.
Yeah, thank you. And I did some sprints.
We have a VIP in.
Okay.
She says it's a city in Ecuador.
Yeah, that's what it was. Okay. Bill Woods got friends in Guayaquil. Okay. That's cool. Yeah, that's where I'm from. And Ruthie Carroll is my mom. And so she confirmed that it's in Ecuador. Clarified. And what else was I working on? I'm working on a
Lucchese.
review video about Lucchese boots.
These beauties right here.
Black cherry full quill ostrich boots.
These are very rare. These were made in the San Antonio, right?
San Antonio,
Factory,
Texas.
is that right? I think so. Yeah, the original factory. And these are full quill, and then they're smooth ostrich.
On the shaft.
Yeah, very rare. And they look great on you, and you like dancing in them.
I do. We did a video review about it.
And you're wearing
the snakeskin
Lucchese's. That
I'll
also,
probably show them later if you guys want to see me dance in them. I can show them later if you want.
Those also look stunning, beautiful,
and they're rare as well, exotic.
And those are the ones that are from San Antonio. That's right. These were made in the other factory. I think so. Yeah, those were made in San Antonio. I got it backwards. These were made a little more recently in the other factory.
Okay.
These were probably made in the early 90s. Those were made in about 1985.
1985.
because they moved to the new factory in 1987, 86, 87, when they moved.
El Paso. From San Antonio to El Paso.
That's right. That's right.
Texas.
And Bill says, very nice boots. Fella's been in motion. Grand Seiko would look better on her. Oh, where?
No.
Go get the 00. Here, I'll get it for you. Here, let's cut.
Grand Seiko.
We got to get you the 002 on wrist.
That's punishment on me, right?
Yeah, you forgot.
Oh, no.
What were you doing? What were you thinking? I keep forgetting. There we go. Cheer up. Okay. All right.
We got
that is better.
Grand Seiko on wrist. Grand Seiko 002.
002 stunner on Bree's wrist. I've got the 231 workhorse.
Also stunner.
I just shared another video that was done a year ago. I reshared it about the 231 here. So, okay, let's get into the questions.
Sure.
Excuse me.
So the first question is, why do you think that it is important to own high quality items?
High quality items. Okay, so I guess this kind of goes back to when I got in the appraisal business, antique and collectible cars. But I'll tell you what, I think I even gravitated towards quality even before that. My dad gave me a Seiko Bell-O-Matic back in about 1972 or so, maybe 1970, 72-ish, in that time frame. I was a young man. And it was a very well-made piece. It did have an integral bracelet, which I wasn't a big fan of because it failed eventually, and that is a problem. But other than that, it was a very well-made watch for a kid, you know, to have. I was
How old were you?
Probably 10 or 12 years old or something when I got it, fairly young. And I loved that watch. My dad brought another Seiko. And this was when Seikos were pretty high quality. He brought
and it was just Seikos, not Grand Seiko.
Just Seiko. He brought another one back from Japan. They went to Japan. He brought several of them back, and he brought one back for himself that was 33 jewels and a nice piece. Mine was the Bell-O-Matic with the alarm. And he also liked some quality items as well. And then I got into appraisals, and I just went that direction. And then a friend of mine made the comment one time about buying quality items. He said, you know, if you always buy quality items, then you'll always be surrounded by quality. You won't have any junk around you, right?
That's true.
And then that kind of evolved to where I started realizing that sometimes quality items hold up better, last longer. In the way of clothing, sometimes they're more comfortable. Example, I'm wearing this Willis & Geiger shirt that dates from about 1980, and it's high quality Egyptian cotton, and it just has a really nice feel. It's a warm day today, kind of warm, a little bit humid, and it just feels great to wear this. And you're wearing a high quality cashmere sweater, which, believe it or not, cashmere breathes and makes you comfortable even in warmer weather. And so it's a pretty amazing. Yeah,
right now it feels humid and warm, but I still feel.
You still feel great, and that's kind of a unique thing about cashmere, and that is cashmere that actually came from cashmere, which I believe is part of India now. The special cashmere goats that are there are the best in the world, and the cashmere that comes from China, for example, is not as high quality. Still okay, but it's not as high quality as the cashmere that's in the sweater that you're wearing now. And so, yeah, I just started really paying attention to some details like that. So what's your next question?
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, everything right here in this compound is I'm very surrounded, or you are very surrounded by high quality items. So.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
And let's see. Let's keep on with the chat. There we go.
Okay, so we have a
Congrats.
question about the hat.
What hat is that? Yeah, what
Bill
kind of
Woods
hat?
first says, there we go. Congrats, I got on my GS2. Okay, Kevin, what hat is that? Okay, so the reason I put this hat on for the show, because we're talking about quality, this is a Tilly hat, and this particular hat is made of hemp. And Tilly now makes some of their hats in China, I believe. They outsource them. They used to make them all in Canada, and they bragged about the fact that they were made by persnickety Canadians and that the quality was first rate. And this is an example of you've got to pay attention. You've got to be careful. This particular hat is very high quality, and it was made in Canada. And a lot of their hats are still made in Canada, but you have to be careful. And so we'll talk a little bit more about that as we progress here.
Yeah.
About, some brands may be high quality at some point and maybe later on not so much. And they can sell out and the brand can become just a commodity item that's mass produced and not of high quality. So we'll talk about that too, I think, at some point. What is your next question?
My next question is, when did you first become interested in quality? I think you answered that question.
Yeah, I think we kind of talked about that. Yeah.
Okay. Are high quality items necessarily more expensive?
That is a very good question, and not always. And we'll talk about the old saying, you get what you pay for and all that. I mean, we'll talk about that too. But here's the thing. Here's my process. My process is I look at what is the best possible item for the task at hand, and I figure out what that is, and there might be a couple of options. And then I worry about the price of the item. The price is secondary. The quality of the item. So you look at the
quality first.
Yeah, the quality of the item and whether or not it will solve the need, will serve a need. That is first. And then we look at price. So, for example, let's say we looked at divers' watches and we compared a Rolex Submariner to an Omega, to the Grand Seiko 231 diver, right? We would weigh the advantages and disadvantages of the pieces and figure out what piece would best meet our needs, and then we would select that piece, and it might end up being less costly. For example, if you bought this 231 diver, you can buy this for less than you can buy a Submariner, and I can make a legitimate argument that this is a better option for some people. So you don't necessarily have to pay more to get better quality. And nowadays, with eBay and with the ability to buy some things pre-owned, sometimes you can buy something that would be very, very difficult to even find or buy in a typical store. Like, for example, these boots. It would be very, very difficult to find a pair of boots like this in any store that you would walk into today. And yet we were able to find these on eBay at a pretty decent price, and they fit you perfect, and you love them, and they're in beautiful condition.
I do.
And so sometimes, again, you figure out what you want. In this case, you wanted Lucchese because they're, I think, the best boots you can buy without going full custom. Of course, they will make custom boots as well, based on a last that they make for your foot. But that's what she wanted, and then what we did, after we determined what she wanted, then we figured out what was the best way to get it and what we would have to pay for it. So first determine what you want and what's best to solve the issue at hand, then figure out how to get it at a good price.
Very good advice.
Or at as good a price as possible.
I agree.
What else do we have here on the questions?
So, Andrew Aberdeen. Hi guys, I love my Bellmatic great piece.
So he has a Seiko Bellmatic. Yeah.
Bellmatic.
Now, does yours have the integral bracelet? If so, how has that held up for you? Mine failed on me. That's the only thing that failed on that watch. But I used it heavily for several years. Bill's in the house.
Waiting on my limited edition Presage SP SPB 171. Also waiting on my SPB 170 and Prospex SPB 179 blue ice diver to go with my gray one. Okay.
He's got some incoming hardware.
And you can send us an email, right, to show us.
Absolutely. Email us whatever you'd like
so
us
we
to
can-
show. Yes, says.
Yes,
You went to a
safari.
safari. Not in
because
Africa.
Of your outfit.
Not in Africa, but I like these shirts when you're traveling or when you're in the thicket or, hiking or whatever.
Warm weather.
Safari cloth was made for a particular task. It's a very tight weave. Mosquitoes cannot bite through it, sting you through it, or whatever term you want to use, suck your blood through it. And yet it breathes well, it's comfortable, and relatively durable. So it's hard to beat for a travel shirt, if you will, a heavy use travel shirt. I had a dozen of these. I bought a dozen of them. I'm down to one. This is the last one I have.
Wow.
Willis and Geiger. I have some other safari shirts, but this is the last. Well, that's not true. I have another Willis and Geiger that's a different style. But of this particular style, Willis and Geiger, this is the last one I have. I had a dozen of them. I've worn out. The other 11 I've worn out. So.
Interesting. And Bill Wood says Panama hats actually come from Ecuador. Very well made. Yes.
Oh, that's cool to know.
Andrew Aberdeen. Pringle jumpers were the thing in my day. Great jumpers, very high quality.
Okay, there we go.
Martin Ryder. Brianna, great hair. Thank you.
And she's also wearing a beautiful Stetson hat.
Stetson hat.
Speaking of quality.
Tim McDonald's in the house. Imagine a product which is amazing quality, fit for the purpose, cheaper, but the design is different. Do you choose fitness for purpose over design?
Well, I think that generally speaking, if something is really well suited for a particular purpose, it's going to have a good design for that purpose. Like, for example, the Series 3 Land Rover, they're very slab-sided. Every design element on those is designed for relatively rigorous off-road use. They're relatively narrow, so you can go down narrow trails. They have a very low center of gravity, so you can go on a 45-degree angle without it tipping over. So it's not the most attractive-looking truck on the face of the planet, but for its purpose, it's a beauty. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
So generally speaking, things that are purpose-built, that are really well suited to the task you're going to put them to, usually they're also, if you understand what they're all about, they're attractive in their own way. But yes, I also prefer things that, that designers try to make them attractive in addition to functional. I mean, obviously we like to have our cake and eat it too, if we can.
Yeah.
So there you go.
All right. So the next question for you is the old saying, you get what you pay for, true?
Okay, yeah, I think we just talked about that a little bit in that sometimes, you can get in a trick bag where there's a designer item, like some of these purses, Chanel purse or something, right? It might not be that well made. It might look pretty decent, but it might not be that well made. There might be purses that are made by leather workers that you can buy on Etsy, that are made by some guy here
for
in the
cheaper prices.
Say again?
For cheaper prices.
Well, yeah, that would be
brand.
a lot more affordable, but that might actually be much higher quality.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful. Again, you have to look at quality first, and then the price of the item. Some shoppers look at the price of the purse. This is a real expensive purse. It's $5,000. My gosh, it has to be the best. It has to be amazing quality. Not necessarily so. So look at the item and really determine.
So it's like a scam.
Maybe.
Kind of.
Maybe. Excuse me. I have some ragweed allergies going on, folks. So,
okay.
What's this comment? No replacement strap, Craig. Yeah, we haven't got a smaller strap for Bree. It would take a little while to get that. At some point, we might do something like that. But I think we're going to get her another watch. We're going to get her a watch that you do feel really that that's a little bit too big for you, right?
Yeah, and it kind of weighs down on my wrist a little bit. Like,
that 18 karat gold, yeah. Yeah, it's got a little bit of mass.
But I do
to it.
like the gold.
Yeah.
That's the best part about it.
There you go.
Oh, Rocky Billy Boy. Hi, Brianna. I love you so much. I was made mad and very jealous yesterday when you danced with the elderly man.
Okay, Rocky. Okay, here we go. All right, let's talk about this a little bit, Rocky. I think that comment right there, for example, would be better than, say, with that elderly man, when you danced with that man or the other man or whatever. You know, it's not flattering to call somebody old, you know, even if they are old.
Call them by their name. I said
yeah, or when you danced with Bill, you know, I mean, let's try to be gracious with our comments, and let's try to you know, again, we're talking about quality here, right? And let's show a little bit of style and class, and phrase our comments in ways that are pleasant. There's enough nastiness out there on other channels. Let's leave that there. And I don't think you meant anything negative by that, but let's just think how we phrase things, and let's do it. Let's take the high road, folks. How's that sound?
The high road.
Yeah, the high road. Series 3, lightweight, air portable Land Rover was the best, but purists say the 2A long wheelbase with Safari top was the best. I prefer the Series 3 for several reasons, and the Safari top was an option on pretty much all of them, and I like the short wheelbase, though, because, you know, you can go some places that the long wheelbase might high center. So I would go with the short wheelbase Series 3 for heavy-duty off-road use, but it is an amazing beast. Have Brooks Brothers been sold, Craig? I think something happened with them. I'm not sure what the final disposition was, but they have been outsourcing some of their items, and their quality has definitely, in my opinion, gone downhill on quite a few of their items. So watch out. Just like Banana Republic, same thing. Got to be careful.
Unfortunately. Rocky Billy Boy says, I'm sorry, I'm only 17.3 years old.
Well, there you go, Rocky. Well, that's fine. We'll help you along the way here. You know, we'll help you along the way. Right? You see, if you start treating a lady like a lady, then you know, you'll get further as your years progress. That's all I'm saying, and you'll stand out from all the yamokes out there that are a little bit rude and crude. You'll stand out if you take it up a notch, up the class ladder a little bit.
Yes, I look at what is best quality I can get with the money I am able to spend.
That's another way of looking at it, but the other way of looking at it is if the item that you have that you need is out of your reach, is a little bit too expensive, maybe can you do without it for a while and save up? Maybe can you...
It's best to save up for something quality.
Yeah, maybe
worth.
Can you figure out a way to increase your income? And you know, because here's the thing, at the end of the day, all of this is dependent on income. That's the dirty secret of being in a capitalistic society. Is you need income to build wealth. You need income to buy high quality equipment and gear. You need high quality equipment and gear to operate efficiently.
And if you don't have the income, then
if you don't have the income in the first place, it's hard to do all of these things we're talking about.
Right.
So yeah.
Very true. Tim McDonald, Bray, have you received the iWatch? And if so, what do you think of its quality? I think he's talking about the
not
Apple
yet.
Watch.
It's not due to come
At the end of October,
around the 24th. I think was the early date, right? I think the 24th was the first date they said it would come.
So in maybe
so
2
hopefully
weeks.
It'll come on the 24th.
Hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
Andrew Aberdeen, Brooks Brothers Greer, very popular in UK now. That's cool. Hopefully it's as high quality as
hopefully they will make an effort to maintain quality, but again, I've seen some signs that it might be going the other direction.
Kevin D for 69 bill looks strong.
I'll tell you one thing about Bill. He was very modest yesterday.
Yeah, he did a good job.
He is a powerful guy.
That was his first live stream, right?
Yeah. But I mean, I'm talking physically. If you looked at his forearms, I mean, I've got pretty big forearms, right? His forearms are probably bigger than mine. I mean, he is no joke. I would not want to tangle with him. I never had to tangle with him. We were always friendly. And we did get sideways a couple of times to some other troublemakers here and there, but they usually backed down. But yeah, Bill is, especially back in his day, he was not one to be reckoned with. Not quite as tall as me, but always stocky and just solid. Always solid. He wasn't always as heavy as he is now, but he was always stocky and solid.
That's good. He could defend himself.
You know, he did a lot of
physically
swinging wrenches, a lot of mechanic work on cars and things like that. And, you know, you build up those strong arms doing that sort of thing.
And photography too, right?
Some of that, but mainly mechanical work and things like that. He did quite often on cars that he was buying and selling and things like that. He did a lot of his own work. He's very mechanically inclined. He's not computer inclined, but he's mechanically inclined. So yeah.
Cool. Rocky Billy Boy. Right now I have a low high school GPA and no car and no job and no gifts. But when it is that I am a millionaire, super home owner, I will find you, Brianna, and I will marry you. Unless you want to now.
There you go. Rocky, well, it's good to have plans, Rocky. That's good. I like that. You've got a plan. Now execute. Execute on that plan.
Yeah, work hard.
Kyle says, does Bill know Kent? I don't think Bill met Kent.
Or Dan.
He's never met Dan. No, I don't think he's met. See, Bill lives all the way down in Silver Spring, Maryland, quite a hike from here. So he doesn't come up this way that often. He does occasionally to visit, and I visit him down there occasionally. But he's a friend from when I used to live down that way.
Oh, okay.
And Kent lives the other direction. He's in Pennsylvania, over the Pennsylvania. I'm not that far from the Pennsylvania line here.
Yeah, it's very close.
Kent's on the other side of the Pennsylvania line, up near Hanover. So he's the whole other direction. And Dan, he's way down in Front Royal, Virginia, so he's not near anybody. No, I met him on Google+. I met him online.
And you don't see him that often. You just...
No, yeah. I've only met him in person, I think, twice.
Oh, wow.
Or maybe even only once. I know I went down there for lunch one time. I stopped in the motor coach in Front Royal, and we had lunch. I think that might have been the only time I've seen him in person. No. There was one other time. That's right. I knew there was another time. I went down there and covered a parade.
And
a really big parade.
You saw him
down there with him. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Down in Front Royal, down in that area.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, the next question is, can you talk about your approach to buying quality items?
Okay, so we did talk about that a little bit, where
Yeah.
step one is to figure out what the item is that will best suit your needs,
Hmm.
and then figure out the options, what items are items, and then figure out the best way to get a deal on it, right? I mean, my gosh, if we can save some money somehow, some way, uh, then yeah, let's do that. And yeah, a lot of people, and the other thing to consider when you're buying something is how long is it going to last? If it's something that you can literally use your entire life, then there's even more reason to get something that's really high quality and precise and so on, because you're going to literally be living with it for a long time. Like these timeless razors. Let me grab this one. These timeless razors that I've talked about on the channel, they're made in the USA, very high quality. This one's stainless steel. I have a titanium one and an aluminum one. And this is literally something that will last your entire lifetime, right? So let's say I could buy a cheaper razor for $50 or maybe even $30, okay? And then let's say this one is $300, 10 times as much money. $300 versus 30, right? Most consumers would say, "Oh, well, let's buy the $30 one." Absolutely, right? But me, I would look at it and say, "Hey, wait a minute now. I'm going to be using this thing probably for 50 years, maybe, right? Well, let's see. I'm 60, okay, give or take. So maybe 40 years. I'll live to be 100, right? So maybe I'm going to use this for 40 years, right? So I want the best. I want a really high quality piece. I'll pay the extra money because I know this is going to be around for a long time. I'm going to be using it. Maybe I'll hand it down to somebody else when I pass. And so, yeah, let's step up and just get the high quality item, right? Now, if it's a disposable thing, if it's something that you're going to use for a relatively short period of time, has a short shelf life, maybe a computer or whatever, maybe not. Maybe not buy the absolute top of the line. Maybe buy something mid-range or whatever because you know it's going to be obsolete anyway or whatever. But just weigh all those things in your consideration is all I'm saying. There you go.
There you go. The next question is, why did you decide to go from Rolex to Grand Seiko watches?
You know, I did videos on this, and a lot of people have asked me that question. Why on earth would you go from Rolex to Grand Seiko? And I'll tell you, it wasn't an easy decision, but the more I learned about Grand Seiko, and then when I finally went over to Steve's place at Little Treasure Jewelers and I looked at the 231 diver, I was like, wow, that thing is just amazing. And I bought this diver, and I really have not looked back. I mean, I've
Really?
been just super, super pleased with it. It runs great. It's super comfortable on wrist. The titanium makes a big difference as far as the comfort on wrist. I like the look of this bracelet as compared to the Oyster bracelet. This has a little more bling to it than the bracelet that's on a sub. The watch itself has a little more presence. It just looks more like a tool watch to me. And even the clasp, people complain about the clasp, but even the clasp looks more like a tool watch would be, right? It's very functional, sort of like that Series 3 Land Rover, right? Just pure function, right? And in the function comes the beauty. So, and then,
And you
my
wear it
gosh,
all the
and
time.
then the 002, wow. I mean, when I first saw the 002, I was like, wow. I mean, yeah. And so
You were impressed.
Rolex has nothing that can touch the 002. Even the day dates that I've had several, right?
And it
Can't,
doesn't do justice on camera.
y-
You
ca-
have to see it in
oh my
person.
gosh, can't touch the 002. I'm looking at it right now. It's just absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. So
I agree.
yeah, it turned out that going from Rolex to Grand Seiko, was not that difficult. It was like, why not? And so, yeah,
Right.
now it's 2 years later, 2+ years later, and
And you're still
I couldn't be happier. I'm still in the honeymoon phase.
That's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you mean when you talk about? Let me keep on with the chat here.
Yeah, let's catch up here. Yeah.
Okay. Tim McDonald. Bill seems like a lovely guy. Was nice to chat with him. Yeah, he is.
And he might come back.
Yeah.
He might come back.
To do a live stream with us. Andrew Aberdeen, has Rocky been drinking? Maybe not. Who knows?
Yep.
Bill Woods, spring drive or go home. Do you agree?
Well, I'll tell you, you get spoiled. You get spoiled by the accuracy and the beautiful sweep of that second hand. I mean, you just get spoiled. Having said that, I also liked the 9F that I had. That 9F movement that I had. I liked that watch. But the best rotation for me, the 1-2 punch, is the 231 and the 002. I mean, you just can't beat that 1-2 punch. When you're out beating around, you want something casual, wear the 231. You want to dress up in a suit. You want to, look the part of somebody making deals and making things happen. Wear the 002.
There you go. Bill Woods, I love my 9F too.
Yeah, talk about being spoiled by bulletproof reliability and accuracy. My goodness.
Tim says, my mother always says better to pay more for better quality because it lasts longer. I bought my Canali business suit. I immediately felt the quality. You need to experience junk to know quality. Yeah,
I mean, the first time I put on a decent suit jacket, it was a Walter Morton. And I believe they're made by like Hickey Freeman or somebody like that. Anyway, it was the brand name Walter Morton. And they were sold by Lewis and Thomas Salts in Washington, D.C. This was about 1978. When I put on my first really nice suit coat, and I immediately felt the quality. I mean, just the fit, the ease of movement, the fabric, just everything just screamed a huge difference between the affordable J.C. Penney suit that I had. I had the most god-awful clothes when I first started selling cars, 1977. Some stuff we bought from J.C. Penney, my mom and I, and hey, I was wearing a tie, I had a shirt and tie, I had a jacket, right? but it wasn't. They weren't anything high quality, right? I mean, it's just like the bare minimum to be able to start selling cars, right? And then it was probably 6 months. I probably wore that stuff for 6 months before I bought my first really nice suit. And then after that, a couple others, and slowly built up a wardrobe. And oh my gosh, the difference is just night and day.
Yeah.
Well, when you put this on, I think you felt the quality of that
compared
cashmere.
to the shirts that I have at home.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah.
Okay, Bill Woods, do you know how to make a coat last? ? Make the pants first.
Okay, there you go. That's a joke.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you like the new sub, Craig? What do you think?
It's better than the previous. I think they softened the lugs a little bit, but I don't think they went far enough. I think they should have gone back to the old, like the red sub, like the case that the old red sub had. More rounded, more flowing, just a better looking watch all the way around. It's still kind of a super case. I'm sorry. It's still got those slab sides. See, one thing that makes this watch so comfortable is the rounded sides and the rounded lugs. Everything is rounded that touches your wrist, right? When you move your wrist and so forth. It just helps with the comfort. So, I mean, I wouldn't go that direction. I wouldn't buy it. I would still buy the Yachtmaster over that because it has the nice rounded case, the nice attractive oyster case, no super case. Super case is not so super.
Yeah.
That's my take.
Yes, there is the Citizen 0100, a $17,000 watch, and is the most accurate in the world, probably. Have a look, please.
Yeah, I've heard about the Citizen, and Steve is a Citizen dealer, and he has some of the high-end Citizens. I don't know if he has that particular one. Yeah, there are a couple of movements that are a little bit more accurate than the 9F Grand Seiko movement, but the 9F Grand Seiko movement, in my opinion, is more robust. So I would stick with the 9F over the Citizen, personally. It's accurate enough. 10 seconds a year, and they're usually more accurate than that, is fine with me. So, yeah.
Cool. The next question for Craig is, what do you mean when you talk about a quality workflow?
Quality workflow. Wow, this is a good one. You know, when we work together, we're always running out of time on projects. We never have enough time.
Well, we keep thinking of projects to do. So
that plus it takes time.
It takes
to
time.
Do things and so
we run out of time.
And so a quality workflow, if you notice when you're working on something, right? If you do wasted movements, or if you do something with 2 steps that could have been 1 step.
Yeah.
Things like this and hiccups, like if you do something wrong and maybe you even lose a project, maybe you didn't save something or whatever. And this is what burns time, right? And time is one of the few things that is limited on the face of this earth. There's probably 2 things that are limited, strictly limited. Time and Bitcoin. Probably those are the only 2 things, right? And so...
And maybe youth.
Having a quality, well, that's time, right? You only have so much time on this earth. So having a quality workflow with as few hiccups as possible so that you can get as much done as possible to achieve your goals is critical. And that comes down to your methods of working and how well you know your software. Let's say you're working, editing a video or whatever. How well you know that software to be able to get those things done as quickly as possible. The power of your computer.
I mean, if not, then you have to go through a tutorial.
Closer to that mic, sweetie. Yeah.
If you don't know those things, then you probably have to, learn them.
Well, that's right. I mean, obviously you don't, out of the chute, you don't have a smooth workflow and an efficient workflow. You have to work on that, right? And you have to constantly work and improve your workflow so that you're as efficient as possible. We talked earlier when we were walking about Henry Ford and how he invented the assembly line. Basically I think there were some other, there were some other assembly lines, but not really on the scale that he did. And he was certainly the first one to do it for automobiles. And so basically, he brought a super amount of efficiency to the process of building cars. So he was able to lower the price per car drastically because of the assembly line situation and the efficiencies therein. And so he became a very wealthy man because he disrupted the whole automotive industry. There were thousands of manufacturers making cars before him, right? And most of them went out of business after him, right? Because he did it so efficiently, he basically made them obsolete. And they were all making them by hand, one at a time, so on, right? And so when you can figure out how to do something really efficiently, you're way ahead of the game. And so...
Because most people aren't like that.
That's right. Most people are not. Most people waste a lot of time. They don't use the right tools. They dilly-dally. They put things off. They don't have discipline.
Procrastination.
Instead of doing it right now, like the old saying about dirty dishes, right? You got dishes in the sink, right?
Ooh, piles
you
up
should
and
do them right away because it's first of all, it's easier to clean them right away. Once that stuff dries on and sits there for a day or two, right? First of all, you might get rodents and everything else, right? But I mean, do those dishes right away, right? Don't put it off. Get those things done right away, and but try to just have a flow to your work that's as efficient as possible, and yeah, it'll make for better results, I think. So there you go.
And that goes with everything, school, work, of any kind.
I think so, yeah.
Education.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Andrew Aberdeen, blue shirt, just got a blue seat. The new one looks amazing.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I do like that watch.
Oh, he said, sorry, blue shirt. John Brogden, is that your girl, Craig? We don't answer any personal questions.
Hey, I'm flattered. I'm flattered that he would assume that you're my girl. I am absolutely flattered. But yeah, I don't think we are going to answer personal questions on the channel just because it's a divergence. There's no real reason for any of that sort of thing. So yeah.
Right. Blockchain.
But she's a classy young lady. I'll tell you what. I'm flattered that you would think that.
Blockchain bandits make time. # do good stuff.
There you go.
Okay.
I wonder if Blockchain Bandits has some Bitcoin.
It has a Bitcoin logo there.
That would be smart.
Icon.
Smart if he does. Let us know in the chat, any of you all that have Bitcoin. Let us know if you have Bitcoin. I'd be interested to know. Put a Y in there if you have Bitcoin.
A Y. Errant Endeavors. Innovation # Model T Plan B.
Plan B, yep.
Stock to
Plan
flow.
B, stock to flow. Yes.
Applegate
Management. Bullish divergence. There you go. He's talking about what's going on with Bitcoin right now. All right, Applegate Management. Let's see if you really know your stuff. What is going to be the price of Bitcoin on this same day next week? A week from today, 7 days. What's the price going to be? Let's see if you can guess it. All these traders, these people that think they know, right? You ask them, and 9 times out of 10, they're not even going to be close to what the price is going to be. Short term, right? Long term, I think we can all say it's going to be up, but short term, I don't think anybody knows.
Tim, that's what I say to my kids after dinner. Brush your teeth now, not later when you forget.
Yep, there you go. Good discipline, Tim. Way to go.
Yes. Rocky Billy Boy. Brianna's my girl when I get more money.
There you go. Hey, she doesn't have a ring. She doesn't have a ring on that hand yet.
Be a patron first.
Show me your left hand. You don't have a diamond ring on there.
No.
There you go, folks. Time to make a move. Send her a diamond ring. That'll go a long way.
Or Bitcoin.
And one Bitcoin.
One Bitcoin.
Yeah, send her one Bitcoin. The link's on briefitdance.com.
It's pumping 11,000, over 11,000.
Yeah. It's on briefitdance.com. Applegate Management says yes, he's got it. And he says no speculation. Okay, he doesn't speculate. Good.
John says I only have Ethereum.
Uh-oh.
That's an altcoin.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Not a good
I would pass
decision.
on the Ethereum, just like I would pass on Tudor. Applegate Management says DCA. I'm not hip. What does that mean?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Maybe don't care at all. Maybe. I want to talk about alligator and crocodile leather goods. I thought it would be cool to own a watch strap or shoes. But I saw how these animals are treated. Very brutal. It is sad. I will not buy.
Okay. Well, yeah, I don't know much about how that whole industry works, but
they look cool.
I will say that I love my crocodile boots, and they'll last a lifetime with proper care. And I think it's a good use for those hides, to use them for certain things like that, wallets and things like that. You know, if you buy a wallet that, let's say it's made of nylon or something, right? I mean, that's not exactly good, right? Where does nylon come from? Excuse me. It's probably not going to hold up that long. I have an alligator wallet that I got at Saks Fifth Avenue about 30 years ago, and it's still holding up fine. I'll probably use it the rest of my life. So I think that's a pretty efficient use.
And actually have crocodile.
You have yeah, that one's actually Cayman, which Cayman does not hold up quite as good as alligator. Alligator's the best, in my opinion, and then crocodile right after that. And saltwater crocodile and alligator are pretty much right there as far as the best for leather goods. And then the Cayman is right below that, and then it goes on down from there. Now, ostrich is very good, very durable. You have your ostrich boots right here. This is very soft, it holds up very well.
Quill.
So there's a lot of good things to be said for ostrich. But yeah, I'm not a big one of these big animal rights guys. I think animals should be raised and used for various purposes. I do eat meat occasionally. Don't eat a ton of it, but I do eat some meat occasionally.
So you wouldn't be like, what do they call them, vegan?
No, I wouldn't. No, and I wouldn't be a member of PETA, I don't think. No. But there you go.
I heard Bitcoins are going down and Ethereum is going up. That was John.
Well, good luck with all that, John.
Yeah.
Check back with me 10 years from now. Let's see how my Bitcoin did and how your Ethereum did 10 years from now. I'm a long-term thinker. My guess is Bitcoin will still be around and Ethereum probably not. It's got a lot of issues.
All right, let's ask the last question. Your thoughts regarding the saying they don't make things like they used to.
Okay, that's a very good one because some things are made better than they used to, and then other things not so much. So I'll give you an example of something that's made better than it used to be made. Most cars. Most cars these days are very reliable, and if you take any kind of decent care of them, I mean, just oil changes, for gosh sakes, most of them will go well over 100,000 miles. Back in the day, late 70s was when 1976 was when I got my first car. A car with 100,000 miles on it, people kind of figured, hey, it was pretty much done for. I mean, it was towards the end of its life. And it was unusual, very unusual, for a car to have like 150,000 miles on it or 200,000 miles on it. It was like, oh my gosh. Nowadays, not uncommon at all. They're much more reliable, much more robust. The air conditioning systems, like my 2004 Toyota Prius, the AC system has never been serviced. It works great. Back years ago, no way. You'd be putting Freon in them. You'd have seals leak. You'd have, evaporators fail. I mean, so cars are one of these things where they make them a lot better than they used to. Okay? Now, then you have things like a suit. Like if I bought a suit from Brooks Brothers 25, 30 years ago, one of their high-end suits, it was pretty fantastic. Fabric, the tailoring, everything, pretty fantastic. Now today, if you go on their website and buy a suit, maybe not. Maybe it's not going to be. You can't buy a shirt like this Willis & Geiger shirt I have on right now, right here. You cannot buy one of these new. If you did find one new, it would be ridiculously expensive. They're very rare. The boots we just showed, your Lucchese boots. If you bought a pair of these today, they'd be hard to find and expensive. And they make a lot of boots now, Lucchese does, that are much cheaper, that are not as high quality as this. They still make some high-end ones, though. But you got to be careful. You got to be careful. And like Stetson hats, like the one you have on, has a fair amount of beaver in it. It would be very hard to find a hat like that, brand new today, of that quality. So some things, and I showed you earlier, we were talking about my Halliburton luggage, and I have some Halliburton luggage that was made in Los Angeles in the original factory. And he sold out some years after that. He sold out to Zero Corporation, then it became Zero Halliburton, right? And the newer ones have Zero Halliburton on them. So I showed you a couple of mine that have Halliburton and then Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And so, in my opinion, those are like the best. Those are just really the best Halliburton luggage that was ever made.
The ones that only say Halliburton.
Yeah, exactly. So they're made in the original factory there in Los Angeles. Those are just really, really high quality. And so, yeah, some things, you're right, they don't make them the way they used to. But other things are made better than they used to. So there you go.
It depends.
You just need to know what to look for and do your best to get the quality, that you want. You might have to go vintage on some of this stuff. Some of this stuff just may not be available new.
Yeah.
You might have to get lucky, right? And find a new old stock. Like I bought some new old stock Sperry shoes that were made in Maine. I bought several pairs of them, actually. Brand new in the box. I also bought some Timberlands that way that were brand new in the box, new old stock that were my size, that you wouldn't be able to buy those today. They're all made in China and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the quality is just, so, yeah.
All right. That was the last question of the interview.
Okay, so let's catch up on the chat, and then we're
Catch
almost
up
done.
on the chat.
This has been an hour. This is the fastest hour in television, isn't it?
It is.
I think so.
Let's see. Kyle says, if the O2 had a screw down crown, a gold bracelet, and was fully auto spring drive, it would be at an even higher level than it is now. Do you agree, Craig?
Well, it depends, is the answer there. If you're using it strictly for a dress watch, like is what I bought it for, I think it's perfect the way it is because it's thinner because it doesn't have the auto rotor in there. So that makes it thinner. I love the strap. I think the strap makes it look really classy. I love the deployant clasp. I think it looks really classy. And to tell you the truth, for a dress watch, now you're talking about if it was for an all-arounder, that'd be a different story. But for a dress watch, I think it's like perfect. There's not a thing I would change on that watch. Nothing. Now, if I wanted to make it into an all-arounder, yes. Add the automatic, add a screw-down crown, add a really nice, robust 18-karat gold bracelet, and if you want to, go ahead and throw the date on there. I don't care, one way or the other. And then that could be an everyday, heavy-use watch. They'd have to engineer the bracelet so that it has the ceramic sleeves like the newer Rolexes have, so that you don't have stretch. So they'd have to engineer it right. But that would be a fantastic all-arounder. Absolutely.
Okay. And Andrew says crocodile. Oh, we are over here. John says dollar costs average. Well, dollar goes down in value every year. But I'm not sure what he...
Dollar cost average. Okay, what he's talking about there, John, is what some people do when they're buying stocks or buying Bitcoin. Let's say they buy like $100 worth every week. That's called dollar cost averaging. So you keep buying $100 worth every week. And it goes up and down and all that. But when it all's said and done, when everything averages out, you come out okay usually on dollar cost averaging. Trying to time the market, in other words, trying to guess when the market's low and buy then, and then when the market's higher, sell then. A lot of the times you get burned doing that. So, for example, let's say you buy a stock, and I've done this myself. I sold my Apple stock too soon. Let's say you buy the stock, and it shoots up 20 or 30%, right? And you're sitting there, you're saying, whoa, man, I got a great profit here. Let me take this profit, and you sell it. You're trying to time the market. You're thinking, okay, it's gone up. That's it.
Yeah.
It's not going any higher. Let me get out, get my profit. So you sell. Then all of a sudden it goes up another 30%, right? Well, now you've got to buy it back for more money, right? You shot yourself in the foot. So
it's kind of like Bitcoin.
You can absolutely get burned trying to time the market, right? So when he's talking about dollar cost averaging, you're not trying to time the market. You're just buying whatever the price is. You don't care. You're buying every week a certain fixed amount. And over time, it all averages out. And the important thing with Bitcoin is, hey, accumulate it. My gosh, accumulate it while you can. Because there could come a time, not financial advice on this channel, but there could come a time when it's almost impossible to get Bitcoin. Oof. I mean, it'll just be so expensive and so hard to get. It'll be like, why didn't I get some back in the day? You'll be telling yourself. Oh, well.
They'll consider you lucky, or the ones that hold Bitcoin lucky.
I have people already tell me
that you're lucky.
Oh, you're so lucky that you bought Bitcoin back when you did.
Well,
hey, everybody was telling me I was stupid when I was buying it back when I did, and they were telling me that I was going to lose my shirt, and they were telling me this and telling me that. They're still telling me that. So, don't know how lucky.
Okay. Have you watched the series? Oh, Craig, have you watched the series on Prime Video called Blockchain? It tells the story from the beginning forward. Well done.
Amazon Prime? Oh, we'll have to check it out. No, I don't think I've seen that one. How new is it?
Yeah, how new?
Do tell. Give us information. We should check that out, Bree.
Yeah. Crocodile straps now banned in California, I think.
I heard that.
Craig, you should hold some Ethereum too.
No.
He says no thanks.
no altcoins for me. He says you don't want to put all your eggs in one casket. And he says it's supposed to be basket, but he's making a joke. Here's excuse me, I'm sorry. Okay, so here's what Andrew Carnegie said. And Andrew Carnegie, at the time, was probably the wealthiest man in the world. I think Rockefeller surpassed him. But at the time that he sold out his business, Carnegie was the wealthiest man on the face of the earth by far. And what Andrew Carnegie said was, and I'm paraphrasing this a little bit, but you can look up the quote, is put all your eggs in one basket and then watch that basket.
Okay.
So his message was contrary to what a lot of financial advisors and a lot of people say, which is diversify. Okay, so buy some real estate, buy some stocks, buy some Ethereum, buy some Bitcoin. Diversify, spread your money around, right?
Kind of like a backup.
His Carnegie, his thing was, no, don't do that. Invest in something that you're pretty confident in and pretty sure of, and then focus on that, and then make sure that that is successful. And that's what his strategy was. His strategy was not to diversify. He focused on the core things that he wanted to achieve. In his case, he brought affordable stainless steel to the construction industry for the first time. And he was the one that ushered in all the high-rise buildings being built in Chicago and New York and all these places. Before him, you couldn't build high-rise buildings that tall because there was no affordable stainless steel. He figured out a way to bring affordable stainless steel to the industry building.
Wow.
And that's what made him rich beyond anybody's dreams. I think when he sold out, for, was it 450 million or 700 million or something? And back then, are you kidding me? That was an insane amount of money in the Gilded Age back then. So no, he said, put all your eggs in one basket and then watch that basket. So my eggs are in the Bitcoin basket, and I'm watching it. And 10 years from now, we'll check and see how you traders have done, buying and selling and diversifying and all that stuff. We'll see how that works out for you.
Call us.
Yeah.
Craig, generally speaking, are diesel engines more durable than gasoline or petrol engines?
Well, yeah, back in the day, I drove 240D Mercedes diesels and 300D Mercedes diesels, and they're very robust, and they last quite a while. Those were the exception to the rule back then, where those would routinely go hundreds of thousands of miles. And if a diesel engine's done right, yes, it can have a very long service life, but some of them are not done right and don't have a long service life. But yes, to answer your question, the reason a lot of over-the-road trucks and things like that use diesel engines is they can be very robust, depending on how they're engineered and so forth. Now, they're heavy, and so there are some downsides to them, but yes, they're robust. They can be.
Artificial intelligence is in the house. Neuralink your time. Nanotech is here.
There you go.
John, Ethereum will be worth more than Bitcoin soon.
Oh boy, that's really funny. Okay.
VRI's vision. Focus your vision 2020. I guess they're promoting.
See, he doesn't realize that Ethereum, there's no real cap on Ethereum. They can make as many Ethereum as they want, right? Bitcoin's
Bitcoin
limited at 21 million units. So it's going to be shortages are incoming on Bitcoin. There won't be any shortages of Ethereum. There'll be plenty of that. So yeah, I would pass on the whole Ethereum thing.
Amazon Prime. The show is called Next Blockchain 2019. 6 episodes. Very interesting.
Okay, good. You know, I'm little incredulous about the whole blockchain thing. When people start using the term blockchain, it makes me nervous because it makes me think that they think that blockchain is good for something other than Bitcoin, right? And it's not. It was specifically designed and engineered to be used for Bitcoin, and it really has no other applications that make any sense. These people talk about these altcoins that are going to do all these wonderful things, you know, medical records are going to be on them, real estate records, all this stuff. Who's going to pay for that network? Who's going to pay for all the computers to have this decentralized network to keep track of all of this stuff and to do it in a secure way, to be decentralized enough to not be attacked? Who's going to pay for all that electricity? How are they going to fund all that? Nobody's going to do that.
That's a lot.
Nobody's going to do that. You can't duplicate the network that Bitcoin has and the hash rate that Bitcoin has. These are all centralized coins with no real use case. And to throw the term blockchain around, the whole point of the Bitcoin blockchain is it's extremely decentralized. And there's a lot of horsepower. There's a lot of horsepower around the world making that thing happen, making that thing secure. You're not going to have it for any of these other things. I mean, and these banks, you know, talking about doing their own coin and all this stuff. Why would they want to decentralize that? They want control. They want centralized control. Why would they want to use a blockchain? They don't need it. They just use a spreadsheet, for gosh sakes. It makes no sense. And if you look at some of these plans that these people have to use blockchain technology, they're not really using blockchain. They're not going to. There's no incentive. Who's going to run all these miners, burning all this electricity? Who's going to pay them? They get paid in Bitcoin. That's worth real money, right?
It is.
They're willing to do it because they're getting Bitcoin, right? And the network is actually used. So there's actual transactions happening between people on the Bitcoin network, and they get fees when they process those transactions, right? These miners get money each time. You know, when I send you Bitcoin, there's a small fee. And the miner gets that money, right? Well, nobody's using any of these other networks, so they're not getting any fees. There's no money to be made.
Right.
Nah, I would stay away from these wannabes out there.
Craig will become around to Ethereum once he realizes it's Bitcoin 2.0.
Yeah, right, John. Good luck with that.
VRI's vision, fully anonymous.
Autonomous.
Autonomous.
Yeah, that means nobody's driving them. They could just drive around by themselves.
Will likely be graphene boron battery operated.
There you go.
Mandela test. sinking next. And Tim says, could you use the analogy? Spring drive movements are the diesel engines of watches.
Well, I mean, that's interesting. I mean, I think they're more robust than a typical automatic movement with an escapement with all that wear and tear of the back and forth, you know. So I think they're definitely more robust. So that's interesting. That would be possible.
On the contrary, blockchain may revolutionize third world finance, accommodating satellite link network accessibility. Hashtag Frederick A11WY.
Yeah, there's no reason to use blockchain technology for all these centralized services. Just use a spreadsheet. And if you want to have a decentralized blockchain like the Bitcoin blockchain, again, it's going to cost a tremendous amount of money. And who's going to put up that money? Nobody. Nobody's going to put up that money. So it isn't going to happen.
Bitcoin are AO.
See, this is what people say. They say that, remember, America Online was replaced by like Facebook, and MySpace was replaced by like Facebook. And they talk about the early movers are replaced by something else, right? What they fail to understand is once the early mover gets to a certain market cap and gets to a certain network dominance, they are not replaced. In other words, Facebook is not going to be replaced. Okay? Amazon is not going to be replaced. Once you get to a certain level of dominance, you generally are not replaced. You stay around. And so AOL never got to that level of dominance. That was the very early days of the internet, and things were still in flux and so on and so forth. And they never got to the point where Bitcoin is now. Okay, it would be very, very difficult for anything to get to where Bitcoin is now, because the problem is that it can't happen again, really, because with Bitcoin, the fact that Satoshi invented it and then disappeared and nobody knows who he is, that's a huge part of the whole thing. And it flew under the radar for so long that it was able to spread around and get stronger and stronger and stronger without anybody ever being able to attack it, right? And so that's almost like a perfect storm for this thing to be created and to grow. You don't have those same things cannot happen now, right? The stars cannot align that way again. Because first of all, if somebody does something now, everybody knows who it is. Everybody knows who's involved. You can't remain anonymous like Satoshi was able to do back in the day.
Yeah.
It'd be impossible to do today. It'd be too easy for them to figure out who you are and who's behind it. And so there's a whole lot of reasons why, no, Ethereum's not going to unseat Bitcoin. Bitcoin's either going to succeed or it's not. And if it fails, it won't be because of something like Ethereum or one of these other altcoins. It'll just be because something went wrong in the code or who knows what might happen in the future. We don't know, right? But it isn't going to be because of any of these altcoins. This is really our only chance to have secure, decentralized money that is not controlled by any entity, that cannot be influenced by governments, that cannot be influenced by the banks. This is really our only shot at that. All these other solutions, the government could go right in and shut them down.
Right.
And arrest people and everything else, right? Can't do that with Bitcoin. It's a horse of a different color. So, okay, let's wrap it up here, Bree. Let's get these comments and wrap this puppy up.
Craig, are you still thinking of moving to PR?
Puerto Rico. I don't think I ever talked about that. Not really. Not really. I mean, it would be interesting to look at, but no, I haven't really considered it. I kind of like Costa Rica myself, but Puerto Rico, maybe. I think Costa Rica has some better weather.
Trade market SEC regulations are coming. Alignment throughout our microeconomic will balance the spreadsheet.
I often wonder where Sears would be today had they embraced e-commerce earlier on.
Once upon a time.
Once upon a time, we all ordered from the Sears catalog before the days of Amazon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the internet has changed the landscape of a lot of things. It's a disruptive technology, and disruptive technologies come along, and that's what they do. They disrupt things.
Almost everything's on the internet.
But I don't see the technology that's going to come along and disrupt Bitcoin. Just don't see it happening.
Yeah.
Just don't see it happening. We'll see. Time will tell. All right, let's wrap it up.
Yeah, let's wrap this puppy up.
So I'm going to go to those beauties there.
All right, thank
Go
you
to the
guys
gold
for
and the
watching.
platinum.
Yes.
Hey, make sure you tell them to subscribe.
Yeah, make sure you subscribe to the channel.
Click that little bell.
Yeah, click the little bell.
And there's a link to your website too, right?
Yeah, there's a link to my website. Can
in
we
the
show
description.
my website for a little bit?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. BraveHitDance.com.
Get that pointer off of you, though. That's right, BreeFitDance.com.
And there's links to all my social media links and also my Patreon if you want to help out the Lady Bree.
Gotta love that. Gotta love that. Thanks, everybody, for watching.
Thank you for watching.